Hello my friends, hello and welcome back to my channel. It is Carrie from Coffee and Crafts, and today, oh boy, do we need our coffee and we need our art supplies. Well, what else do we have? We have a cold. Sad to say, I have a cold. Hopefully you can understand me okay, but I will put a link to my Amazon wish list in the description, and this paper will be on that list. Okay, so Carrie, why? Why are we talking about watercolor paper when we all color in adult coloring books? You know, adult coloring books are not watercolor paper. Well, I had mentioned in I think my last video or the video before, that I like to use this paper to loosen up, warm up, get a feel for the watercolor, because every brand, every product is going to be a little bit different. And it also boosts your confidence level up. If you practice a little bit, you got a feel for it, you know what you're doing. Okay, so since they appreciated that I mentioned that, I thought I would do a little mini review on why I love this particular brand. Now, if you talk to a true watercolorist, they're gonna tell you Arches. They're gonna tell you Arches is the best brand out there. But I will tell you why I like this one better than Arches. Let's talk about price point first off. At the time of this video, a 9x12, which is this bigger size, a 9x12 hot press on Amazon is $24.24. So it's not cheap, but you do get 15 sheets, and you could cut them down to use smaller pieces. You can also buy smaller pieces. So this is what size is this? This is a 7" by 7" block. And how much do those run for? Those run for, I'm seeing $19.62 on Amazon and $13.12 on Blick and Jackson Art Supply. So it does pay to not always use Amazon. Amazon sometimes is more, sometimes it's the same, sometimes it's cheaper. So utilize your other art supplies or maybe your local art store when you can. All right, so the other question is, well, what's the difference between hot press and cold press? Well, I'm going to read you a little excerpt that I found online about the differences. Hot press is this red one. Hot press is a smooth and fine-grained surface, whereas the blue cold press has a textured, slightly rough surface, often described as bumpy or pebbly. So it has highs and lows. It's very textured. So I would say that if you're practicing for a Joanna Basford type book, use the cold press. If you're doing a watercolor like Maria Trolle or Lulu Mayo books are more marker-like. They've got a smooth texture, but still a little bit of texture, but more of a smoother surface. I would use hot press to practice with. So why are there two different types? The hot press, the smoother paper, it allows for sharper details, fine lines in your paintings, and it works well with other mediums like ink and pen. Now, what I was told is that if you're going to use gouache, which is a more opaque paint, still water-based, to use hot press, because you're going to struggle with it having too much texture. Whereas the hills and valleys really allow for your watercolors to be free and move about the cabin and make beautiful magic, right? Okay, so those are kind of the two differences between them. The absorbency is different. Hot press, it doesn't absorb as much. It stays on the surface of the paper more, whereas cold press dries faster. A hot press also is good for OCDers like myself. It allows more control over washes and coloring blends, whereas this is a softer gradient, but you have to kind of let it flow a little bit, and you might have to guide it more. So those are kind of some differences between hot press and cold press. Now, why do you like this over another brand, Carrie? I will show you the main reason that I love this paper more than Arches. Did I mention Arches? I can't remember. I have a cold, you guys. So if you ask any traditional professional watercolorists out there, they're going to say Arches is the best. I found Arches to be extremely rough. The hills and valleys were extremely high and low. You have to have a lot of water to use Arches, and that doesn't really mimic the coloring books that we use. We want to use minimal water on our coloring books. So let's just talk about the price point of Arches if you did want to try it. Let me find it here. I had it a minute ago. Here it is. So Arches for a 9x12, which is the size of this larger one, is $19.99 at Hobby Lobby. If you have a Hobby Lobby, I'm sure it's on Amazon. I don't see a price on Amazon for it, but I'm sure it's here somewhere. Alright, so it's going to be around $20. So it's really not a big difference in price between the two brands. How many pages of paper do you get at Arches? You can get really large sheets with Arches as well. Oh, here's one from Jackson Art is $35. So it kind of depends on where you go, but around 20, you can probably find it for around $20. It doesn't say, how many sheets do you get with that? 12, so you don't get as many sheets. So I do think this is slightly cheaper. There are some other brands that you could try if that's too much money for you. You could go down to Joann's if you can find one open, or Michael's, or another art store and get Strathmore. Strathmore is kind of like, to me, is kind of like the bottom. I need a sip of coffee. Is kind of like the cheapest there is, but it's a good starting point if that's what you can afford. Buy what you can afford. Don't let me enable you. Don't go out and buy this paper just because I said so. But maybe eventually save up for this paper to try. Another cheap one would be Canson, is around $12. Strathmore you can get from like $8 to $10. Yeah. Befang, I don't know if I'm saying that right. You can buy it at Staples, and I've heard of some that like that. Fabriano, I've heard, is decent. That's about $6. So it just depends on what your budget is and how much you want to spend, or if you want to try a different type. Mule is one that I've heard is good, but I haven't tried it. I've only tried, I have tried Strathmore and I didn't like it. I don't know, it tore a little bit. It wasn't very thick. I have tried Arches and I didn't like it. It was super rough and you need a ton of water. And then I found this one. Okay, now we're done talking about money. We're done talking about different brands. Now I'm going to tell you why I love this. What is the main reason I love this brand? Okay, so let's just set this aside. And it doesn't matter which one I show it to you in. So here is my cold press, and they both have this feature. So you open it up, and the binding lays down flat, which is nice. And you can fold it back, and it does create a little bit of a slope that helps with glare. But the main reason that I love this paper is it is a block. It's a block. So that means, let's see if I can show it to you. That means that this edge right here is glued. Sorry for my giant finger, but this edge is glued down. So what does that do for us? Well, it means that I never ever have to tape down my watercolor paper to keep it from warping. So, so I like that a lot. So it's one step that you can avoid. And also the texture is less than Arches. It's not quite so extreme. I've been practicing, as you can see, with some blues. But I don't know if you can tell the difference. I can really see it. I might zoom in on that so you can see the difference. But I think you can tell. So you can tell that this cold press, it has a texture and it's more like Joanna Basford type books, whereas this is more smooth. It still has some texture, but it is more smooth and is better for like markers or gouache, or if we're trying to mimic a coloring book, a hot press is a good one. Okay, so you've got this block of watercolor and you practiced and now you're done. So how do you get to the next page? I will show you. And this video is not meant for children, thus the knife. So if you are underage, perhaps ask a parent or an older sibling to do this for you. So what you do is you just take your knife, and I'm not sure if I can show this on camera, but you just take your knife and you put it underneath here, which it looks like I already started to. You just kind of slip the knife underneath there. So we're gonna, this normally is glued on, but I did one edge already. So you just slip, I'm trying to show it to you, you just slip your knife under that glue there, and you just kind of pry, you can't see me. Okay, so you just kind of cut it, basically. You cut that glue across, and you can cut this across. And you can kind of pull it off. And my watercolor paper is free. Oh, I could have zoomed back out again. So, but yeah, so I took my knife and I just, there's little grooves here, and you just find the little groove and you cut, you start a cut, and then it pulls right off like a notebook pad. So that means that I don't have to tape things down, and I like skipping steps if I can. So that is the main reason that I like this brand. It is a little expensive, so you can go with another one, but if you're going to go with one that isn't a block like this, then I would highly recommend you get some painter's tape, some masking tape, some artist tape, maybe not masking tape, but some artist tape to tape it down to a surface. It could be a table, it could be a big clipboard works well. Trying to think of what else you would use. Maybe one side cut off of a cardboard box you might be able to use. Maybe some cardstock, thick cardstock that's larger than this paper. You can maybe use something like that. Those are just some ideas. I think that's everything. I can't think of anything else. Oh, I did notice that there is another brand that's a block that I had forgotten about. I don't think I've tried it. I don't think I have. Maybe when I go on my trip, I'm gonna go to a Blick in person. Maybe I'll see if they have some. And it looks fairly reasonably priced. Let's see. I don't think I've tried it. It's called Fluid watercolor paper, and you can get a 6x8 block for $9. So it would be comparable to my little guy, my 7x7-inch block. And this one was around 12 to 15, I think. So it would be a little bit cheaper to try the fluid watercolor, but those are I'm seeing Paul Rubens has a watercolor block paper. Yeah, so there's a few out there to choose from. This is just the one that I found in a Blick when I lived near a Blick and tried it and loved it. All right, so that's my review and kind of dissertation of why I love watercolor paper. In future videos, you may see me use this to do like a study of how we're going to approach a coloring page, or I may do that off camera. Who knows? All right, well, thanks for hanging out with me in this review. If you've used this paper, please let me know in the comments, or tell me what you do like to use. Do you practice? Do you swatch before you work in your watercoloring pages, or do you just dive right in and let the chips fall where they may? I'm curious to know what you like. And my cold is starting to get to me, so I think we're going to end the video here. If you like the video, please like the video. And if you want to see more content, please subscribe, hit the bell, do all the things. As I mentioned, I'd love to hear some comments about what you've used or what you plan to use, or what you think of this paper, or screw it, I don't need watercolor paper. I'm just going to dive right in. All right. Happy coloring. I'll see you next time.